At some point in human history, somebody looked at a cow and thought, yeah, I'm gonna drink that. I mean, think about that for a second. Cows are massive. They have horns. They can literally kill you. And some person, some incredibly brave or incredibly stupid person decided the smart move was to walk up to one and just grab it from underneath. And it worked. And then they told their friends about it. And their friends did it too. And now there's a carton of milk sitting in your fridge like it's the most normal thing in the world. But here's where it gets really weird. Most people on Earth actually can't digest milk. Like, at all. About 65% of adults worldwide lose the ability to break down lactose, the sugar in milk, after they stop being babies. Your body basically says, okay, you're done being an infant, you're never going to need this again, and just shuts off the enzyme that digests it, which honestly makes complete sense. You're a grown adult. You're not a baby cow. Why would you need it? So how did we get here? How did milk go from something that made most humans physically sick to something billions of people drink every single day? The answer is actually one of the craziest survival stories you've ever heard. Let's go back about 10,000 years. Farming has just started. Humans are beginning to keep cattle for the first time. And at this point, nobody is really drinking milk. Cows are kept for their meat and to help plow fields. That's it. The milk was for the calves, not for the humans watching nervously from a safe distance. But humans are always hungry, and humans are always curious. And someone made the connection, hey, that same animal we eat, it also produces this liquid, this fatty, calorie-dense, nutrient-packed liquid. So people tried drinking it. And it made them feel absolutely terrible, bloating, cramping, the kind of stomach pain that makes you regret every decision you've ever made in your life. And for a long time, that was just how it was. Milk existed, adults couldn't really drink it, end of story. But then something changed. In certain farming communities, mostly in Europe and parts of Africa, a random genetic mutation started appearing in some people. This mutation did something incredibly simple. It kept the milk digesting enzyme turned on into adulthood. That's it. That's all it did. But in a world where people were starving to death on a regular basis, that tiny mutation was absolutely enormous. Because think about what milk actually is. It's basically a liquid food. Fat, protein, sugar, calories, all in one thing. And a single cow can produce thousands of liters of it every single year. Without you having to kill the animal, without you having to hunt anything, without you even leaving your farm. People with this mutation could survive famines that were killing everyone around them. They could feed their kids when other families had literally nothing. They were healthier, stronger, and way more likely to make it through a brutal winter. So they survived. They had more children, and they passed that mutation on. And over just a few thousand years, this one tiny genetic change spread like wildfire through farming populations across Europe and the Middle East. Today, about 90% of people from Northern Europe can digest milk their entire lives. In populations that never kept cattle, that number is close to zero. So if you can drink milk without any issues, that's not just a random thing about you. That is 10,000 years of famine and survival literally written into your DNA. But here's the part I love. Even before that mutation became common, humans had already figured out a workaround. Fermentation. When you ferment milk, bacteria break down most of the lactose naturally. The result is cheese, and yogurt, and butter. Dairy products that almost anyone can digest, mutation or not. So humans invented cheese not because it tasted good. They invented cheese as a survival hack. Some of the oldest cheese ever found was sitting in an Egyptian tomb over 3,000 years old. Evidence of dairy fermentation in Europe goes back at least 9,000 years. Humans were making cheese before they had writing, before metal tools, before cities existed, and this whole dairy system created a feedback loop that shaped everything. Populations with access to dairy had a reliable, high-calorie food source that didn't require killing the animal. A living cow feeding a family for years was worth far more than a dead cow feeding a family for a week. Northern Europe, where it's cold, where crops fail constantly, where long, brutal winters were just part of life, became densely populated partly because dairy farming made it survivable. Butter and cheese lasted through winters when everything else ran out. The reason Northern European food is absolutely drenched in butter and cream and cheese isn't just a cultural thing. It's thousands of years of survival baked directly into the cuisine. And all of that history is still running inside you right now. That craving you get for cheese late at night, that moment when a slice of pizza or a bowl of ice cream just feels irresistible, that's not a weakness. That's 10,000 years of evolution telling your brain that fat and calories from dairy kept your ancestors alive. You're not addicted to cheese. You're just responding to the same survival system that kept your great-great-great-grandmother alive through a famine in medieval Europe. The first person who walked up to a wild cow and decided to try this whole milk thing made a decision that made absolutely zero logical sense. But that one weird, reckless, slightly insane idea started a chain reaction that fed billions of people, permanently changed human DNA, and shaped the entire history of civilization. And tonight, when you pour milk into your cereal without even thinking about it, you're the end result of one of the most unlikely survival stories our species has ever pulled off. And that's what gets me every single time. The most normal things in your life, the milk in your fridge, the cheese on your pizza, the butter on your toast, all of it came from one moment where some prehistoric human made a decision that made absolutely no sense at all. If you made it to the end of this video, honestly, thank you so much. It genuinely means everything. If you learned something new today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We drop new videos every week about the wildest, most surprising stories hiding behind everyday things you've never thought twice about. And hey, drop a comment below. What do you want us to cover next? Why did ancient humans eat things that were actually poisonous? How did humans figure out that bread needed yeast? Or maybe something completely different that's been living rent-free in your head? Tell us down below. We actually read every single one. See you in the next one.